And that's an artist that came up through Americana.
He did, and he won last night too. And I mean, it's incredible. I mean, he, very interestingly enough, he lived part through.
Well, howdy, all you high thinkers, and greetings from Nashville. I'm Sid High, and today I was going to talk about the BMW i8, the extended range hybrid. This car is just fantastic. So I hope you've had a chance to watch my video, The Yin and Yang of Automobiles, where I discussed the 69 Camaro and the Nissan Leaf. And at the end came to the conclusion, wouldn't it be great if we could combine these two? And then that's when I panned over to the i8, which it is just incredible. I mean, it's a beautiful car like the Camaro. As far as you drive it anywhere, they're, you know, coming up and talking to me, taking pictures of it, videos while I'm driving down the road. It's just awesome. People love it like the Camaro, and it seems to make them happy. And we really need things that make people happy these days. It's just any little thing that makes people happier, I think, is a great thing. So it's a great car for that. And now it's so I remember when I first saw an i8 and started looking into them, I thought that is just amazing technology, and that is like could possibly be the perfect vehicle, especially when it came out. And I would say that that I know it's a slogan in their marketing pitch, but I believe BMW did create the ultimate driving machine. Now, it's not for everybody, and I'll get into a little of that later, and I'm not getting all the technical stuff. There's plenty of videos on that. I'm just saying, for me, I was doing it from my perspective of, you know, I drive it around on short trips and around town, and normally it stays at 99.9 miles the gallon because I pretty much always use electric unless I go on a trip, and then it starts to drop down. But say, like just yesterday, I went to Chattanooga to see my daughter, and I'd driven it a few trips around town beforehand, so that skews it a little bit. But basically, going down there, and I was able to charge at a charge point charging station for a little over an hour, and it cost me $1.18 for about 15 miles of charge. So that's pretty darn good. We did a little run around. I came back and was able to charge it for roughly another 30 minutes, which was 55 cents, and I got about 5-mile charge on that. So it's basically costing about a dime a mile out, well, at that particular one. That's a whole nother subject on charging stations and how much, you know, each individual one can be different than the others because they sell them to individuals to set their own prices, is my understanding. That should be another video for another time. But the point is, just doing that little bit, I was able to get roughly 55 miles the gallon for the trip. So, and I've got about 300 miles on it. So, you know, roughly 6 gallons of gas maybe for that 300 miles. And you still can go 0 to 60 in 4 seconds. So there's no problem merging. So as far as around town, also there are some places that have free charging stations. Publix over in Belle Meade, or you go to Radnor Lake and they have a couple of free charging stations there. And they have them down in Chattanooga too, where my daughter's going to school. Occasionally you'll find that. So that's great. And like I covered on the Leaf, I just use the one-end outlet at home, and that works great. And another example of efficiency on it, I had a friend fly in for a visit, and I picked him up at the airport. We went to all kinds of music shows, running around for about 4 days. I put the odometer said 513 miles on it when I stopped to fill up finally after all our running around, and it took 4.7 gallons of gas. So that's roughly 110 miles a gallon for 4 days of running around Nashville with a friend in this car. I mean, I find that to be incredible. So another reason for getting this as opposed to an all-electric car is taking long trips. The infrastructure just doesn't seem to be there you know, to stop and charge. I know there are some, but with this, I don't have to worry about it. So I get the best of both worlds. Of all things, I go to Buc-ee's when I was driving to Charleston. They got like 10 or 12 Tesla charging stations, but none for regular charge. That was kind of strange. And then other places that say they have them, a lot of times are broken or they don't have them anymore. It just, until the infrastructure is there, all electric to me for a long distance is just not, well, it works. You can make it work, but I just find this to be the best of both worlds. Again, you don't have to worry about range anxiety or whatever. So that's why I chose this over a Tesla. So the other thing, of course, is it's a BMW. It drives like a dream. To me, it's extremely comfortable. If you had a luxury car, I guess, you'd probably think this was noisy and rough riding. But to me, compared to the vehicles I've always driven, this is like a dream all the time. And it's just awesome to drive. It's so fun. So because it's so comfortable to me, even when I make long trips like to Destin, Florida, it's like 7 hours, maybe stop once. I should probably stop more. Charleston's about 9 hours. So again, it's just so comfortable. Once I get there, if I was one of my older vehicles, I'd have to rest for a day after I got there. You know, drive back to Eureka Springs to see my friends. That's another 9 hours. And it's just great, especially when you get in the hills. I mean, the Ozarks are, this thing is at home in the Ozarks. Let me tell you, it loves it. So, yeah. And also, like I said, I'm not going to go into detail on all the specifics of the car. I'm doing this more about my experience with it. A couple little notes. It's not for everyone. You have to pay a little attention. I mean, you can put it in comfort mode and just leave it there and not deal with anything else. A few things you might want to know, though, is if it hasn't been started for a while, or if it's cold weather, the motor will start automatically so that it's warmed up when you need it, because you don't want to pull out of your garage or take off, you know, when it's freezing and you're doing electric the whole time, and then all of a sudden you kick your gas motor in because you need the power and it's got to immediately rev up. So you want it to be warmed up. So it does that. And then in comfort mode, it'll automatically switch between the two. But so if you're sitting waiting to turn out into traffic, here's one thing that can be a little concerning. It'll be electric, but if you need to accelerate hard, it's going to kick in, and there's kind of like this lag but push. So to offset that, there's an option. You can put it in sport mode, which is just pushing the shifter over to the left, and that turns on the gas motor, puts it in all-wheel drive mode. You still have to be careful when you accelerate because it will really go, but it's really smooth. Same thing when you're going up a hill and have to stop for something, and then when you take off, it's going to kick in the gas motor. I mean, it's the only time that's a real issue really is when you're making a corner. If you're in a straight line, it's really smooth. So this is just a little quirky thing. Other than that, everything's great about the way it transitions between the two. Yeah, I just don't know how to put into words how great I think the car is. I understand that they only sold 6,500 of them in the States from the time they came out until 2020 when they stopped making them. And, well, I love it. And so I guess in my conclusion, kind of like in the other video, I really see the way to go is the extended range hybrids, because you don't have to use as many batteries, so you got less weight, but you still can have the motor off at a stop sign and it doesn't kick on the gas motor until you need it. So that's really much better than just having the motor turn off and on all the time to me. Plus, if you make short trips, you really don't use gas. I mean, it's very nice. You know, plain hybrid is nice, but you don't get that option. The extended range gives you that option. And when the solid state batteries come out, that's going to be a game changer, because instead of 30 miles of range for that same capacity, it's probably going to be like 60 to 90 the way it's sounding. But who knows when that gets here, but that's going to be a real game changer to me. Anyways, I appreciate you watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and keep thinking those high thoughts. And until next time, I hope you have a good day.